Hello folks, Will here. Back again with another technical issues update, unfortunately. So this was our first week, as you're about to hear, recording live in the same room together. And we thought we had it all sussed out, but unfortunately my audio gets corrupted about halfway through. And rather than subject you to the really bad beeping and low quality audio, I tried to fix it, couldn't get it done. So it's a shorter episode today, up until the audio goes. We unfortunately don't get around to covering the Liverpool game, the managers being sacked, bandwagon wheel. But don't worry, it's not that we've abandoned all the other stories in the Premier League. So yeah, unfortunately, this week shorter, but next week we'll be back to regular episodes covering all the news. And hopefully no more listen to me give technical updates. Enjoy the show. Did you see that video of your man, the media guy, talking about Man United? I think I said.
Oh yeah, I fucking didn't look at that. That could be a fucking good.
Man, it's so grim. Twice a day we do, and he's an American guy. He's like, twice a day we do. We dive in, do social media analytical graphs on every one of our players to see what the discussion is around them.
Oh my god, kill me! That's the worst thing ever.
Could you imagine sifting through? A lot of people calling Harry Maguire slabhead today. We really got to change the narrative.
Oh my god.
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense. But listen, I've been on that road before. Nonsense. Talking nonsense. Why should we accept somebody talking nonsense? Like, what would you say? Just why are you talking nonsense about us? Why are you talking rubbish?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a No Nonsense podcast with Cahill and Will. We are back for another episode of the best podcast, sports or otherwise.
Yeah, ever.
The best there is. The was or will be podcast, and that's why it hurts us as much as it hurts you when we miss an episode, when we don't come back like we say we were. We're going to.
We promise.
I promise to the listener. That's what I was. Scheduling issues, just one of those things. But the result of these new. This is like a politician struggling to find what to say. No, the result is that we're probably going to have to be more organized than ever. So this might actually save the pod from itself.
Yeah, we're just saving it from self-destruction.
And by itself, I mean us being a little bit lazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're definitely going to be more organized now. We're going to try anyways to keep getting the 2 episodes out. It might be a bit difficult, but definitely one anyways. We'll get one out for sure.
Yeah. And it'll be in person, depending on how this one. You'll know if it's in person. You'll tell, I would say, 5 minutes into this pod if the next one's going to be in person.
Yeah. Like I say, it's actually good news.
Yeah, it's actually good.
So I mean, like, what Champions League, Ronaldo scores, Liverpool game,
it's the usuals.
It's just a game, boys. Get over it. No, I mean, look, it was a good Champions League, but we have too much to talk about here for the Premier League. And again, it's group stages. It's group stages. I mean,
group stages. Who cares? A game in, what's going to happen?
I mean, shout out to Liverpool. It's the first time. I think ever in the current Champions League that they've won all their opening games and gone through before the last 2 games of the group.
Fuck.
So you might think
that's a good thing.
That's a good thing for Liverpool, and West Ham will be shaking their boots when they play them on Saturday. But here we are on Saturday.
If you've learned nothing from this podcast, there's one thing we can always say: when things are going well for Liverpool, it's actually a very bad thing.
Yeah.
There's something bad that's going to happen soon.
Like that was today on Sunday. That was that game, but the game on Saturday, the big one, Derby.
Oh yeah,
remember that? Did you ever see that clip?
Is that the BT Sport clip?
No. Martin Tyler is. I don't know. I think someone was down injured in the last game, maybe before the game, and he's like, De Bruyne, Derby.
Oh no!
Play the clip.
De Bruyne, De Gea, Derby.
Classic Martin Tyler, being weird. But yeah, look, it was. I guess you could sum up the Manchester derby as City were pretty good. Man United were pretty bad.
They're pretty awful, yeah.
I don't think City were like unbelievable. This is the second coming of Pep's Barcelona. I mean, it was close, but they did make mistakes.
Yeah.
And United weren't the worst thing I've ever seen. Like they looked, as Gary Neville put it, leggy.
Yeah.
They looked mad leggy out there. And so he just kind of kept the ball. I think the phrase that Pep used afterwards was keep the ball in the fridge or put the ball in the fridge. I think it's one of those phrases that translates badly from Spanish, but like it's like parking the bus or something like that. Like it's
keep the ball in the fridge.
Yeah, they had to put the ball in the fridge because they were worried about the counterattack. He said they're like Liverpool in that, you know, you hit them on the they hit you on the counter if you go gung ho. So it was all about slow build up, control possession, which made for a pretty
dire game. Because Ollie played 5 at the back thinking they're going to come for us. And then it was just 2 teams sitting in their own half.
Yeah, one for the purists. If you like, wow, I mean, the way they're keeping this ball off my night is really impressive. And it is.
Yeah.
Anyone who's ever played as much as 5-a-side knows how hard it is to string passes. If someone actually wants to get the ball off you, they usually can. You just go, no, I'm just going to stick my foot out. But like, City just kept the ball for so long.
Yeah.
Like in the second half, there was a period there I couldn't remember what the last shot was.
Yeah, I think United had more shots on target on their own goal than they did on City's.
Yeah. And like City, or sorry, United were working hard. They were pressing, and they would get the ball. Like I said, they would intercept it at times. But like to make the reference again back to Barcelona, they were implying that implying. No, they were employing. Yeah, let's go with that. They're employing the 6-second rule made famous by Pep Barcelona. We're like City might lose the ball, but they were ferocious in how they win it back quickly, and then United had to wait for another break.
Yeah, exactly.
But then also United would maybe win the ball back and then give it away, try and hit on the break.
Yeah.
It like this was obviously game 3 of the 3 games. Ollie had to save his job.
I mean, it was the exact scenario that we asked. What happens then if you win one, draw one, lose one? If you're literally as average as you can possibly be, what happens then? And I think the answer is nothing. Nothing happens.
Like this, the thing this was Ollie's game to lose because it was like, you know, the criticism is tactically he doesn't have it.
Yeah.
And then you go out and play 5 at the back, and I mean you had Wan-Bissaka there getting pinned down by Foden, and then Cancelo had free reign because it was kind of Bruno who was semi-responsible for that, like not really. They want him to get on the ball. So like you had Wan-Bissaka being taken up by Foden, and then you had Cancelo just putting in balls. And I'm saying this side, Shaw was had Jesus, who was, you know, like I say, pin him down, and then you had Walker bombing up, and nobody kind of taking responsibility for him. It was like tactically, that's a nightmare, and like it was never fixed the whole game. And even when, because like people say, oh, they're getting killed when Shaw went off with the head injury. Yeah. Then Tellez came on, nearly gave away a penalty. You know, because like he like even Shaw, like he was doing well on Jesus, but then you have someone that's on top of you. Like as soon as Shaw went off, they were getting completely overrun that side. So I mean, tactically, an
absolute mare,
and that's what it's all been about. No one's doubting. It's like, oh, do you think Maguire as good as Diaz? Like probably not. Not anybody's fault, really. I mean, that's just reality. I mean, like, but can Ollie make up for that tactically? And the answer is no.
Yeah, I mean, when you think of how far Southgate got Maguire and Shaw and made them look, that's not that long ago. Like, there's no way they've regressed that much.
Well, that is the thing about Southgate in England. All of those England players who were above 25 look wrecked. Yeah. Like Kane, obviously, you know, he has his own thing going on, but he looks, you know, leggy. Yeah. Maguire, Shaw. Stones obviously is older. He's barely played this year. He's gone with Laporte.
He's pretty lucky to be on the City team where you're not needed every day.
If you're not playing well, you're not playing. Yeah. So if he looks tired in training, then someone else coming in then. Yeah. You know, whereas someone like Shaw and Maguire, like you have to play every game, you have to play well. Yeah. So they're getting more exposed for it. Walker, to be fair, has played pretty much every game.
Yeah, and he looks as good.
Bit of an outlier. I think he didn't play the first game against Tottenham, which they lost. The rest, all those players then. I think he came, I think it was a half against Arsenal. Yeah. So he's kind of been eased back into it a little more, maybe. But Phillips for Leeds. Yeah. I mean, Leeds, again, they're all bad, but like he was kind of the engine in that in that team.
You never hear about him.
He's not playing as well as he was last season. Like if he's playing like this last season, playing for Leeds, not getting anywhere near the team. You know, he barely got, like people say he's not good enough, you know, because he played for Leeds. He's not playing well. I mean, Rice is only 21, I think, 22. Yeah. He's flying it. Mount is flying it. Zach is playing pretty well. You know, all the young lads are all right, but like, who else was there? Sterling as well, not playing for City.
Yeah.
Just the older lads, if you go all the way to the tournament final, I wonder how the Italian lads are doing in their respective teams.
Well, you have to think a lot of them play for Juve, who are not doing particularly well.
I think they play for a few different teams. I know Spinazzola obviously got injured. He was playing for Roma. Verratti, obviously PSG.
Yeah.
Again, this isn't a podcast for information.
No, you Google it.
We answer the questions for you to answer.
Yeah, we throw the questions out there and you find out.
But yeah, no, like obviously a big part of that United team last season was the defence. Check our team of the year for more information on that.
Yeah. That seems like imagine looking at that team of the year now.
Yeah, no, like, and even to be fair, at the time, people also said,
yeah, we thought we were right, but yeah,
how we have 3 United players. I think they had a bad defense last season, did they? No,
they were good last season. They were good,
but I think the team had a bad defense, maybe.
Yeah, I think they conceded a lot. I think De Gea, remember, they were like swapping goalies every week.
Yes, the goalie situation. You forget about that too.
You were reminded very quickly in the City game about De Gea.
Yes. Well, I mean, I suppose the goal.
Both goals were just
De Gea. Well, again, like you say, it was Shaw who just kind of misjudged the situation. Yeah. Like, it's one of those classic things, like, you clear it in case someone's behind you, and like in the slow motion, the ball's coming and he slowly turns around and sees Bernardo Silva, and he's like, oh no.
He's going to get that.
And then it was like ridiculous athleticism and flexibility to even get a foot on that, and then De Gea kind of punches it in.
He just got out of the way. Well, because we missed the episode, me and you watched the United game in the pub.
That's not why we missed it.
No, unrelated.
Cut that.
Remember the goal in that game as well, where it was just kicked right at Daya and he like fell and palmed it into the goal.
Oh, I went under him a bit.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
So he's had 2 mares in 2 games.
Yeah, it was a bit of a howler. It was a weird goal. It was like, how did he get that in? And then you see the replay and De Gea kind of, it wasn't going in even. Like, probably well, maybe not because it was eventually if it travelled on. But I mean, it was Shaw's fault initially for letting the man behind. I mean, that's just like, but I think that's a tiredness mistake.
Yeah,
that is literally like you lose concentration for a second because you're so bet. So it looks like it might get worse for United and Solskjaer if you know one of your 2 rocks to your defense, like Maguire and Shaw were excellent last season. If they're like failing, and like we saw Telles come on, he's just not as good a defender.
No, he's not. No.
So like a tired Shaw as Brian Telles, that's it's bad for United. Yeah. So that goal was bad. And then the second goal, again, was another Cancelo assist. And
just rifled it at the box. Just did the City thing of hit it across, it'll bounce in somehow, and that's what happened.
And Eric Bailly, the scourge of Troy Deeney's nightmares, if anyone remembers that quote, about Arsenal, or whatever. It was just, he kind of lunged at it, but beforehand it was Hernandez was like, oh, I guess I'm on the wing, and he had to chase down these small things that show like this team isn't set up well.
Yeah, they're not coached properly.
It's not that Bruno, if he knew what his job was, could have ran it, didn't know, do I block the cross?
Which goal are we in?
Wait, I usually score. What am I doing here? Like he doesn't know, but it's because the whole thing is like he didn't know where he was meant to be.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you saw, afterwards the tedious debate in the studio. I mean, Graham Souness, he's so weird. Like what we're referring to, if you didn't see it, they were arguing about that first goal. Oh, no, the second goal thing was the second goal where
I think,
Cancelo put the ball in. Again, they were like defending all like just like trying to get in front of the ball.
Yeah.
They didn't look like they knew where they should be. So when Masaka is like in the middle of the goal, it comes out to Cancelo where they've switched to play, and he's like, right, I guess I should go to that.
Yeah.
And he kind of comes halfway because he's not really sure who's behind him, what other people are behind him. Like, he doesn't want to rush out and then have the ball just pass around him.
Yeah.
So it kind of comes like, all right, well, I'll go to the edge of the box so he doesn't strike it from there.
Yeah.
But I don't want to run too close in case he pass around me, and because he doesn't know.
Yeah.
Again, Bruno Hernandez maybe should have been there. He wasn't really tuned into that defensive side of it. Didn't know where he was going to be. And then I was like, go to right instead of, and he goes, right, I'm going to kick it to the left then. It was a weird move that he did. It looked bad.
Yeah.
And the debate was, Meek Richards, I guess the right back to Union, was like, look, he doesn't know where he's meant to be here. Like, it's not really his fault. He's trying to do other people's jobs because it's not clear. And Graham Souness was like, I don't care. He should stop the cross. I mean, well, yes, in a vacuum of like, but like, and Graham Souness was like, I think he actually said, well, just forget everything you just said there. And I'll tell you, someone's putting a cross, you stop the cross. Simple as that. It's as simple as that. It's like, well, he's trying to do other people's jobs. Like, no, stop.
No, shut up.
That's not a thing. That's not how it works. Like the way Graham Souness was saying is like it was a drill.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, Ramsaki, you have to stop the cross here. And he just didn't do it. It's like, why didn't you do that?
If I was on the pitch, I simply would have stopped the goal.
Literally, that was the argument was. But this went on for like...
It felt like days.
5 minutes, I think, at least. And then they brought in Gary Neville, I think, from the gantry.
Who I've officially... I never want to listen to him again.
Yeah. They didn't... I think they agreed to disagree on the Wamsack one. And Meekly said almost like, why am I defending the Man United right back? Like this is not... I'm trying to be biased for Man City here, and Graham Souness won't let me because he's so wrong about this right back. So they moved on about that, and then inevitably, as we do every fucking episode, which we said we'd stop doing, but we're going to do it again.
Can't help it. It can't be stopped.
If it doesn't go away, what do you want us to do? Okay, our journalistic integrity means we have to report on the news. So they start talking about should Ollie be sacked, right? And this is, Gary Neville needs to be taken off this subject. Yeah, he's obviously still his friend. Yeah, still close to him, and he refuses to have an opinion on it. Yeah, and his take was, again, like I said, they're asking, is this the end for Ollie? Should they be, should they go? And Meek Richards, I think, was trying to say, look, you see, this is the kind of forms that managers get sacked from, like a really hapless, like,
it's not the disasters. It's just like, it's when it's just clear to everyone, like they don't know what they're at.
Yeah, like that's whatever about them being good enough or bad enough, whatever it is. Like, but if they don't,
teams get hammered sometimes. It's just like 2 goals go in and then the team fucking fell apart. Yeah, but when it's just like you don't touch the ball for a game and you don't get a shot on target, it's like, well, there's nothing to go off here. Like they're done.
And it wasn't a perfect City performance. Like they were good, but they give the ball away a bit, and like they just. Like the one Phil Foden after the game was like not even sweating. He's like, yeah, no, it's a good game.
Did you hear Gundogan's quote about it?
No,
I'll find it here. It's very similar, not sweating at all. He said that it was a very fun game, very enjoyable, a nice time for us out there. Basically, is what he said. Like he was literally had a ball out there.
He had the ball for most of the game, anyways.
I've never heard a player say like, "Yeah, that was great crack." They didn't like it was so easy.
So they asked Gary Neville, should he be sacked, blah blah, and his reasoning was, well, we thought that when we brought on in Mourinho and he had a good CV that work and didn't. I think the presenter, I forget, so bad, I don't know her name. She's very good. Like I always find Dave Jones. Like I always feel that Dave Jones like wants to be part of it. He wants to have his say, wants to get his licks in almost. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be part of the banter. Yeah. Like I think that he would say, I know Roy Keane very well. But I think Kelly Gates say, yeah, I've worked with Roy Keane a lot of times. Yeah. You know what I mean? The same relationship. They know just as well, but she wouldn't feel the need to. And like Gary was going on his spiel again of like, oh, well, Mourinho came in. He wasn't a good player. Gal came in.
Yeah, we hired a manager 7 years ago and it didn't work. How could it possibly change now?
Moyes had a better CV than Ollie and he didn't work. And then Kelly Cates, the presenter, was like, well, you kind of say this, but I mean, does that mean that, you should never do it again or that CVs mean nothing? Like, and then he literally said, it's like, well, look, I'm just saying we don't know what could happen. So there's no scientific positivity in this. There's no absolute that this will absolutely work or whatever he said. Something like that, where it's like, we don't know the future, so therefore...
Why talk about it?
We shouldn't even try. It's like, literally, if someone came in with a CV, it's like, well, you have experience in this role, and, you've worked in for 5 years, but I don't know if that's going to translate here, so I'm just not going to hire somebody.
Yeah, we're just going to keep it the way it is.
Even like, that guy can't do the job. You look like you can, but I don't know if you can.
Yeah. So look, we've had really qualified people here before, and then we replaced them with this much worse guy. Yeah. But, we still had the bad people before that, so what can you do?
It's a stupid argument.
It's clear, it's just a man who does not want to, obviously, get his friends sacked. And I did see people talking about this. I wonder if there is any truth to this, surely the owners who, they're pretty removed from United, but
Yeah.
they definitely see the Gary Neville stuff, and they know Gary Neville is like
Yeah.
the voice of the fan, probably in their mind. So I wonder when he's saying like, "No, don't sack him." I wonder if that's all they hear. All they see is pundits from United who they're supposed to be listening to. That's what the fans wanted, and they're like, "No, don't sack him." They go, "Okay, you said."
Yeah.
Like
No,
it's hard to tell how removed they are.
It's just it's annoying because like if it was somebody else, and like the thing is he had to go there at Mika because Mika was obviously saying he was like
Sack him.
well, he wasn't. That's the thing. They never do that. To be fair, no, but you never see a pundit being like, "Oh, get him out." It's like, well, who's going to win? I don't care. I want him to lose his job.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Yeah, I've seen managers get sacked for less than this," and then think Gary Neville turned on him and was like, "Well, are you saying he should be sacked, Mika? You're saying he managed to lose his job because like if you're not, then you're not saying different than any of us." And then me kind of got up on it and he's like, "I'm just saying."
Yeah.
And he's a very like animated, kind of loud guy. People like him. People are like, "Oh, he's a breath of fresh air. He's so great." And like, listen, I take him over Graham Souness, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I just think he gets a bit excited sometimes. I was like, "Oh, shut up!" Like, like
I'm watching the boring analysis. I don't need to be entertained by like.
he starts roaring and shouting and like, man, in a tiny little box. He's like roaring at a screen with Gary Neville, and it's like. It's like that kind of. You ever watch the old Question Sport?
Yeah,
It's kind of very like loud, competitive kind of sports guy banter.
Yeah.
And like Meek Richards is that kind of like laugh at things that aren't really that funny.
Panel show.
Panel show kind of over the top kind of. I was like but it's not an act. I'm not saying it's an act. I'm saying he is like that. So like when Gary Neville starts having to go and then said, and he was being very obtuse and very kind of a toxic kind of a thing that he's doing.
Yeah.
It's like you say, "Yeah, I want to win that game." Oh, so you're saying you wanted him to lose?
Yeah.
You're saying you want the fans to be sad because if you want them to win, that means you want them to be sad. Is that what you're saying? I was like, well, that's not what I'm saying. Technically, that is a result of it. And that's what Gary Neville was saying. He's like, "Are you saying you should be sad? Because if you're not, maybe you should just shut up." And he's like, "I'm just saying that he's not doing well. And if there's someone better that could come in," he's like, "Well, we've done that before. So maybe you should just shut up, Meek Richards." I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, you can't just be stick up for your friend when you're meant to be.
Yeah, you're like like you don't support United. You're watching it. I don't give a fuck what Gary Neville thinks personally about Ollie. I'm watching the people who know the game better than I do talk about it.
And like, it's a weird thing the way it is probably from Gary Neville and Carragher, where it's like when they started doing that, the M&F, and they were just like unapologetically, "Yeah, I love Liverpool." It's like, well, I love Man United, and I hope they win every game.
Yeah.
Like, and it was kind of like, "Yeah, finally refreshed," because you'd see, former players like
afraid to say anything.
Well, former Liverpool players or former Arsenal players who'd be on Sky Sports and they'd be like, "Oh no, I'm objective," and I was like, "Yeah, but you do actually want Arsenal to win."
Yeah.
But like you couldn't because no one wanted to see.
Yeah.
This no one wanted to see Gary Neville sticking up for not only a Man United great, but his friend because no one wants that. So everyone's like trying to be objective, and it's turned on this kind of thing of
like think of who was in the box. It was Gary Neville, Roy Keane, Graham Souness, and Mika Richards. Like there's no unbiased anything there.
Yeah, and the whole thing as well is all set up to wind up Roy Keane.
Yeah.
See if we can get a reaction of Roy Keane. It's like it's almost sad. Like they start off with the 6-1 clip.
Yeah.
And they go, "Mika, remember that?" And then he's like, "Oh yeah, I was brilliant in that game. Oh, what a game that was. That was by the star of it. Do you remember that, Roy?" And then Roy's like, "Was I playing that game? No." Yeah, no.
Yeah. You'd already thought Alex Ferguson is dead to me by then.
Yeah, but like he's like, why are you saying to me like I wasn't playing that game? Like that was years after I retired. But like it was like all set up to kind of wind up Roy Keane, and they got it. He was like, as soon as Richards were having this back and forth, he was like,
stewing.
Yeah, no, I do kind of agree with both of you, but I think Shaw and De Gea, that's the real problem.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I've been at those lads for years." And he starts to like get wound up. He's thinking about it. Like, "Yeah, I fucking hate those lads." Yeah. And obviously they asked, "What do you think about Ollie?" And the clip, we'll play the clip, but it was amazing.
Yeah.
But if you're a manager, he's come into this game this morning. He spoke about the players are in good mood at the hotel, whatever the hell they were doing. But I've been a manager. You're going to a match with players and you're looking over your shoulder on the bus and you see Shaw, Maguire, Fred, and these boys. You're going, "My job depends on these guys." Then you're in trouble. You're in trouble. You're on about being in the trenches with people. For as bad as United were today, you still want your players, Graham. You still want your players to do their job. You've got international players. Shaw there. You've got Maguire. You've got Bailly. Midfield. Fred's playing for Manchester United. Anyone who tells me Fred is good enough for Manchester United, I've said it, is living in cuckoo land. And that is an important part of the football pitch. Gary mentioned there when I played, I was very fortunate. We had people like Scholesy, Butty, Brian Robson, Incy, brilliant players. And more importantly, brilliant characters. There's a lot of group of players out there from Man United. They are talented. We're on about Cavani's a big loss. Cavani's always injured. He's 30 odd. You can't hang your hat on Cavani every week. He played last week. He done okay against the poor Tottenham team. And he's injured again today. He loves a niggle. You can't hang your hat on him. So this player, as I said, I can imagine Ollie, and I try and picture a manager. And I've been there as a coach and a manager. And you're looking at players when you don't know what you're going to get. These players are no good to you. You don't know what we're going to get with Manchester United. That's not if you're a small club. But Man United, you're hoping, fellas. No, Mickey's going to enjoy his day. And Man City, and they're all having their little day. And Liverpool won title in 30-odd years. Man United are in a bad place, but there's a way out of it. Is Ollie the man to do it? Huge question mark. But if you've got bluffers on the bus with you, and you're dependent on Shaw and Wampus, imagine you're dependent on these guys. Ollie, you might be better off out of it.
Yeah, but he's got Van der Beek. He bought Van der Beek.
He spent 100 million on him and Sanchez.
Are you saying he's the answer?
I'm not saying. Well, he
he
needs
played
to be
in the last season.
He needs to be given
and he was
a
very
chance.
average. He was very average.
We talked about Fred and
40
McTominay.
40 million to drop in the ocean.
We talked about we have the
40
same
million to drop in the ocean.
Same
40 million.
conversation
Jack
every
Grealish
time.
is on the bench today. He's 100 million.
Yeah,
he's on the bench today.
That's irrelevant up to the conversation. But Van der Beek.
If Ollie walked in here now, if Ollie walked in here now, I'd grab him by the and I go, "Why are you playing Fred?"
That bit where he's like, I want to grab Ollie and shake him and say, why are you playing Fred? I think that is a most amazing moment in TV history. Honest to God, he was like losing it. He was genuinely losing it. But it was all set up for this. It was all like they knew Man United were going to lose.
Wind them up and then let them loose. And then
Yeah. It was like no matter how many goals they would lose by. And then
you don't get Roy Keane in when you think United are going to win a game. You never see him then because
No.
it's very rare you see Roy do like, I don't know, United versus Watford or something like that. He's always there for the ones who's like, they might lose this.
Yeah, no, it was incredible, but like the aftermath was probably more entertaining than the game itself.
Well, they did. I don't know if you saw the clip of how wound up Roy was. Did you see after the game with the fan?
Yes.
Where he was going to fucking kick his...
Was that not before the game though?
I think it was after, because I think he was signing autographs after the game.
But everyone was milling around. Surely they'd just been gone home.
No, but I think they were milling around to get his autograph. I saw.
No, but like all around the stadium. I think that's before.
Oh,
the
maybe,
game.
yeah. Well, I think what happened was he was like signing autographs, and then he was like, "Right, I've signed enough. I'm fucking off."
Yeah.
And your man was like, "Oh, you're a legend here, though, Roy." And he was basically like, "What did you fucking say to me?"
Yeah, he was like, you've had 1-2 pints.
He did roast him though. Your man's like, "Sorry, I've had a few drinks." He's like, "Yeah, I can tell."
Oh, you've had a few pints, have you? You're going to talk to me like that? You have a few pints. You had your pints.
Yeah, I can tell. You probably had one. Like,
It was mad though.
what a crazy man! Like, just letting him loose around the stadium like that, and then getting him in and just he's gonna explode someday and kill someone.
No, like I say, it was kind of at times it was like annoying and it was like a boring kind of a game. It didn't really require that much analysis, and it just felt a bit like, let's see if we can, wind up Roy. But and then like again, like they know if they ask Gary Neville a tough question like that, he's gonna just
Talk. He'll just talk in circles.
he had his little fucking poppy on his scarf for the cameras because I knew that the cameras would be close up on the gantry. God forbid someone had to go and wearing his poppy. That this kind of stuff. The guy is so aware of this. I think he owns the club. He hasn't sacked loads of people.
Yeah.
Like from managers to just staff at the club.
Yeah, even selling players that just aren't like it's
I think every time they go, oh, so Gary, you want me to lose my job? You want me to? Are you going to get me a new job? So you want me to die? You want me to die, Gary Neville? Like you took that to but whatever. It was just something I saw. And I thought this is such a load of shit.
Yeah,
man.
I agree.
Such a load of shit.
It took a turn because I don't think it wasn't always like even last year. I remember fondly watching Roy Keane make Jamie Redknapp's head explode.
Yeah,
I remember that. But then I was like, this
good,
is great crack. But it very quickly is just like, this is the same thing every week. I can't keep doing this.
Yeah, because it was genuine. It was a genuine kind of coming together, and Jamie Redknapp could be able to laugh at it last week. Jesus, I hope Roy's out of here. They're going to eat the head of me for no reason. But now, like they wheel him out, and it's like, oh yeah, here we go again. But
it's angry man, local man shouts at cloud.
yeah, exactly. But look, the upside or the not the upside, the takeaway is that is the end of the 3-game run he had. Mm-hmm. 1 win, 1 draw, and 1 loss.
Yes.
Which means, Will, that Daniel Farke and Dean Smith were sacked.
It was the bingo.
They were sacrificed for Ollie's job, I think.
So here's a question for you, Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
if Ollie had been sacked 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
before those two were sacked, do you think he's on either of those clubs, even shortlist? I don't think he is. I don't think Norwich would. I think Norwich would go, we're not getting him in.
Well, based on what they
We
did
could
Cardiff.
do, like we can do better than him. But like, surely that's enough of a reason to get him out of such a massive club. Like,
it's one of those perspective things. Like, you know, would you want him at your club?
yeah.
But look, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I really don't want to talk about really say, because like we don't know anything else.
Yeah.
Logically, he shouldn't be there, but he is. So I mean,
what can you do?
we don't have any inside information. Logic doesn't work.
Yeah.
So we're just going to go around in circles. So look, I think just get used to it, kids.
Yeah.
This is your life now.
I mean, you'd know he's gone when you least expect it. He's gone when things are going fine, and then something will happen.
When someone good is ready to come in, when somehow they've managed to get Ten Hag or some of that in.
If I know Man United, it'll be just when it is the most hurtful time for him. Because that's what they usually do. It's when it's just like, oh, that's bad form to do that.
But yeah, I mean, that's a nice little segue. I suppose Norwich got their first win and promptly sacked the manager.
Yeah, because look, you're sacking them at the international break. It's not their fault they won that day. They didn't know. First
win this season. Tough for them. Bamadelli, good to see him getting games now.
Yeah,
that might come to an end. Unfortunately,
yeah, that's true.
Did they announce somebody's Norwich?
No, I don't think they have a manager yet.
But that was apparently the word coming out that it didn't matter what he did. Clearly,
yeah.
They already given
it's international break.
International break, and they had someone lined up or whatever it was. So he's gone, and also Dean Smith.
Yeah,
also gone from Aston Villa.
He lost 5 games in a row. Do you know the last game he won was?
Right.
In Old Trafford.
Damn.
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense. If Ollie walked in here now, I'd grab him by the... And I'd go, why are you playing Fred? Nonsense. Talking nonsense. Why should we accept somebody talking nonsense? Like, what would you say? This is why are you talking nonsense about us? Why are you talking rubbish? Manchester United, I've said it, is living in cuckoo land.